Hey everybody, welcome to this week's edition of Coast to Coast. And I have the pleasure of having Letty Ann from Overland Park, Kansas, which is going to be fascinating to learn about this area. Hi, how are you doing today, Letty Ann?
I'm doing great, Tim. Thank you so much for having me on today. Yes, we are smack dab in the middle of the United States in the Kansas City metropolitan area.
And this is actually the first interview I've done with someone that I've never been to your city. So tell me, what is good about Kansas City area out in that metropolitan? What do you like to do? What's fun?
So many great things to do. So what do I like to do for fun? Table Rock Lake and the Lake of the Ozarks are both within 3 hours of the Kansas City metro. So my husband and I and our family, we often go to the lake and spend the week or the weekend or a couple of days, which is great. We are pretty close to skiing in Colorado, of course, not in the Flint Hills of Kansas. So you can get anywhere, Tim, which is great in just a few hours, whether you're driving or flying. So especially to each of the coasts. Kansas City has so much to offer. Just lots of great music, jazz, of course, our Kansas City Royals and our Super Bowl champs, Kansas City Chiefs, and Sporting KC if you're into soccer. So much to do here. And about soccer, there's several soccer complexes here for children. I say kids from all over the country come here to play soccer tournaments, and so much to do. The metro is a huge area. So whether you're on the Missouri side or the Kansas side, so many really cool things to do.
And I find it fascinating. I mean, obviously being in Orlando, I don't have this jump state to state. How is it living literally on the border of Kansas State and Missouri?
As a real estate professional, it's great because we're of course licensed in both Kansas and Missouri, so we can help folks who live and reside in both states. I used to live in Missouri and work in Kansas. There's some complications there, not complications, but you get over that real quick with paying taxes and who you pay and all of that stuff. But Kansas City Metro, like I said, is huge, and it is made up of 2 states. Several cities inside the Kansas City Metro, and then hundreds of subdivisions and communities inside of that. The beauty of Kansas City, now you and I spoke earlier, I'm originally from Pennsylvania. When I moved to Kansas City in 1993, so several decades ago, the road system is phenomenal. Everything is east and west or north and south. So unlike Pennsylvania, where you can easily get lost in the mix, but we never knew north, south, east, and west. Back east, there's so many hills and mountains, you really can't tell what you're going. But the roadway system here, you can be anywhere in about 15 minutes, with exception of the airport, which is, I will say, way up north because I live out south. And you may ask me what is something you don't like about Kansas City. Well, our current airport is the pits, but good news, we have a new airport under construction as we speak. I think that's slated to be finished in 2023, I think. It's going to be state of the art, like all the other really cool airports that you don't mind having a layover or using the restroom.
That's a good thing. Are they just building a new airport altogether and tearing down the old one eventually?
Yes, praise the Lord. Yes.
Where are they putting that one? Is it going to be up north as well?
Right next door. Yes, okay. Yes, still up north, which that's fine. But we are long overdue for a new airport for sure. So that's something for anyone moving here to look forward to.
Okay, that's good to know. Once it's done, I might have to fly into the airport to check it out.
What's so great is they're taking local restaurants and they're actually going to put those local restaurants inside the airport in the different terminals. So I love supporting local. I'm not really a fan of big box anything, and I'd rather support the mom and pop than the big box. But I've always been that way.
So speaking of restaurants, what are some of your favorite cuisine in the area?
Really a lot of good Thai food. There is an incredible amount of great coffee shops. How well can people do coffee? Well, they can do it really well or really poorly, in my opinion. Italian restaurants. I would say the fare, it really is all encompassing. Yeah.
So what's your favorite local restaurant?
My
Do you have
house.
one? Your house?
My house. I love to cook, Tim. Excuse me, Tim. I love to cook. I actually wrote and published a book called Homes That Cook: Buying, Selling, and Creating a Home That Cooks. So it's tips for buyers and sellers, as well as staging tips, but it also includes some really great recipes from my family and dear friends. But I do love to cook, and it's kind of a joke when people say, "What's your favorite restaurant?" I say, "My house," and then they want to come over. So.
Yeah, how about say, I'm like, are you inviting us all over?
Everyone's invited. Just let me know you're coming.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit more about this market. How is the real estate market locally?
I'll tell you, for people around the country, and I know folks in California and on the East Coast and even down in Florida and Texas, Kansas City is still an affordable city. Our average price point our median price point did, increase slightly recently. It's about 370,000. Let's say mid threes. You can get so much for your money here, Tim. The people from the coast, even coming in and moving here, they're surprised at what they get for their dollar. So it's very affordable. It's a great place to live, great place to raise a family, if we're still allowed to say something like that. And there's something for everyone here in Kansas City. It's great outdoors. There's hiking and bike trails and walking trails and just so much to do. I think it's kind of a nice little best kept secret here, right in the middle of the United States, Kansas City. So much to offer.
So with the median price being around 370, what does that typically get you? What type of square footage home are we talking about?
I would say that would be about 3,000 square feet. That would be a resale home as well. So you would not get that in the new construction. Prices would be a little bit higher in the new construction. 3,000 square feet, 3 to 4 bedrooms, 2 to 3 bathrooms. And the average yard size, I would say, is about a quarter acre.
Yeah, in Orlando, our median varies around 370 to 400 as well, but we're talking 1,200 square feet to 1,500 square feet, maybe a tenth of an acre.
Aha, yep.
So,
yeah. So what you're talking about there, 1,200 square feet, that would be around here. That would be about a $265,000, $275,000, $300,000 price point. And all depending, we're not comparing apples to apples here. So it all depends on the shape of the home and what's inside and all of that. But much more affordable than a lot of other cities. And that's what we're told when people move here. They're like, we cannot believe we can get this, $850,000 house that would cost us about 1.2 or 1.7 million where we're moving from. So,
yeah. So what's the typical days on market?
Presently, so
Yeah.
we want I'll call it a podcast. We want the show to be evergreen. Average days on market today, which is April of 2022, it's still 3 days, 2 to 3 days. But what we're seeing, Tim, are maybe not 25 offers in on the house. Presently, things are coming to a little bit of more of a balance. I won't say it's balanced, but it's tipping a little bit the other way with the interest rates that are rising and that we're told, predicted that they'll continue to rise. Maybe there's 6 offers instead of 20 offers. We still have a pent up demand with the buyers.
6 is still good, at least.
Yeah.
So talked a little bit about investors, but how is the short-term rental market there? Do you have one of those?
I had an Airbnb. I just sold it last year. And I did have a couple of rental homes that we have since sold because we wanted to take advantage of that market. We'd held them for about 7 years and we thought, okay, it's time to sell, and when things cool down, then we'll buy something else. Short-term rentals, if you're talking about Airbnbs, it depends on which side of the fence you're sitting on. As a owner of an Airbnb, you really need to be cautious of where you're going to purchase an Airbnb, because in some places they're not allowed. And I think that's now everywhere. When I bought the home in, I think it was in 2010, Airbnb was either just coming up or people didn't really know about it. So there weren't really many rules and regulations, but those have really gotten dotted I'd, crossed T'd since then. And so anyone who's considering a short-term rental, you want to be sure to check that city, that subdivision, to be sure that's allowed.
Okay. Now, with you selling basically homes on 2 different states, does the market change much between one side to the other side?
Missouri would be more affordable than the Kansas side. Yeah. And that
Okay.
that's the same with the taxes. Taxes are a little higher on the Kansas side.
Okay.
Great
Okay.
question.
Yeah, because I'm curious. 'Cause I'm like, again, I'm still fascinated about the working on both lines.
So if someone watching this and they have a question about the Kansas City market and is Missouri for me or is Kansas for me, we generally ask a lot of questions and dial it into which side of the state line might be more appropriate for them, or depending upon where they're working, or if anyone's going to school or anyone's commuting, we kind of dial it in that way. And oftentimes we just start with a big net and then we narrow it down as we go.
Okay. Well, that's definitely very good. Is there anything you'd like to share with everyone that we might not have covered so far?
Nothing comes to mind.
Well, definitely thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it. I hope everyone enjoyed learning a little bit about the Kansas area on Kansas City, Kansas, or Kansas City, Missouri. And if you're looking for any real estate needs, we can definitely get you connected with our go-to realtor out in the Kansas City area, Letty Ann. Thank you so much for your time today.
Tim, thank you. I so appreciate the opportunity to talk with you and your viewers, and have a great week.
Thank you very much.